Hello. So normally we have some people who should join our workshop of today. So please, if you can hear me, can you just use the chat to confirm me that you are able to hear me and that you are also able to see my screen? That could be interesting during the workshop. So if you never use Demio, that's our platform. And then, of course, thanks, Sarah, Guy, thanks. Oh, I don't have to explain. You already know everything about it. So it's really nice. So at the moment, we are something like 16 people. So we are just going to wait a few moments to be sure that everyone is coming and joining as expected. Hello. And if I just take a look on the left side or right side, it depends if you are on a mirror or not. Just because I am at the office at the moment, I'm a lucky guy for this. And I don't have my current installation as usual. And so I must take a look to the big screen that we have at the office, which is not really comfortable, to be honest with you. But okay, I will do my best to make it clear. And by the way, just to know, due to bandwidth connection and to avoid risk or issue or anything like it, I'm going to stop the camera when we go deeply in the presentation, because I prefer that you get a clear view and a clear sound about the presentation than just having my face with melting based on the temperature of today. So just to let you know, in a few moments we will start and I will stop the camera. So just to let you see the screen. So hello from Monday directly. Lucky us. Yeah, thanks for your introduction, Dam. So Damien is my colleague indeed, but we will talk a little bit more about it then, because we need also to do a kind of presentation of each of us for those who don't know us yet and who doesn't know Hidalgo at the moment. We are going to give you some explanation, as we will also do it, of course, about Monday.com, because it's the main topic of the day with the PMO stuff. Indeed. Oops, let me just, oops. Okay. So normally we start at 3 p.m., but following people who are joining at the moment, and due to, today we jump from a meeting to another all time, so it's sometimes complicated to join on time. And of course, if you need technical break or just grab you a coffee or something like it, it's time to do it. And for your information, the first minutes of the presentation will also be something more theoretical. It's not directly into the product. We don't dive into it directly. We just start with some introduction, explanation about the body of the presentation, and then how are we going to introduce you the solution itself. So if you need to take just a quick technical break, just feel free to do it, and we will start in a few moments. Okay, so time is running, but probably we don't need to wait more time, as explained, of course. First of all, if you don't join the presentation the first minute, it's not so important, let's say in this way. And then, of course, if you don't know it yet, you will get an email with all information related to the presentation, meaning that the video is recording. So just at the moment, we are recording the video. If you need to leave earlier, it's not an issue. You will get the link to get a view on the video. If you would like to share it with your colleagues, if you would like to explain to someone how does it work, and you see that we explain something really interesting, then feel free to just share the video link, or even to show to people how does it work. And by the way, if you still have some question, we are still here. So I propose just to start the workshop of today. So welcome each of you. So welcome today at our workshop. And the workshop of today, the topic is the PMO and Monday.com. So probably that most of you already knows Monday.com, which is, of course, a company. You know it, but it's also a product. And we will talk a little bit more about it later. And the PMO for most of you, of course, you know it because you are a project manager and you would like to get, for example, a clear and big overview about all the project, and you would like to stop chasing people, getting information, etc., using Excel sheet, blah, blah, blah. So don't spoil you too much. We are going to go in the presentation for all this information. So today, as the presenters, that's the first part of the presentation, because you can see me, of course, and then the most important is to know exactly who are we and why are we here. So the main speakers is myself. So I am Guillaume Lorque. I'm from Belgium. I'm a business consultant. I'm considered as a business hero from the company Hidalgo. So I work for Hidalgo for more than a year now. I am also certified for a lot of product, and by the way, I am certified for Monday.com's product, meaning that today I have the skills to explain you and to support you in your project. And so I can help you if you have any question, if you would like to know how to implement something, or would you like to improve the solution, if you would like to add another product, because you can, of course. It's something that we are able to do. And to join me today, we have Damien. So what I propose is, Damien, if you would like to introduce yourself, feel free, the stage is yours.
Hello, everybody. I'm Damien from Hidalgo. I'm working as a business consultant and also expert on Monday.com. I've been working in IT since more than 10 years, and I've been working as a Scrum Master, Product Owner, and many other job positions. And today, I'm the assistant of Guillaume for this workshop.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks. That was clear and efficient, as usual. So then we both work for Hidalgo. Hidalgo is a company, and mainly the headquarters is in Belgium, but we also have an headquarters in France, in Ukraine, and we have a lot of people around the world. So we have people, for example, in Spain, in Costa Rica, India, and we have a lot of people, by the way. So the goal of Hidalgo is provide the customer with a lot of skills and services, and so we provide you with consultants, as we are with them. So we provide consultancy. We also provide for some product managed services solution. We also support you during the licensing process. So if you need, for example, buy new license, if you need some advice about it, how does it work, etc., that's something we can help you with. So if you need to buy, for example, Monday.com, you know that exists some plans for it. And which one should I choose? How many seats should I buy? Because we know that we have guests, blah, blah, blah. So if you already know Monday.com, that's something you know that sometimes it's nice to have someone to support you with. And at the end, Hidalgo is also a company who creates its own products, and we create, for example, some add-ons for a lot of product on the market. And so if one day you are interested to get more information about it, I can just propose you to send us an email to get more information. And of course, go on our website, because the website normally should explain you everything we do with words, example, and customer story, etc. So just feel free to do it. Then we are clearly lucky today because we have someone really special for us. It's our partnership manager, Guy Hirsch. And today, Guy is here to support us during the presentation. So if we can just give the mic to Guy. I don't know if it's already done. Let me find him in the list, because I know that you are here, Guy. I've seen you. Just invite on stage. So normally, Guy, at the moment, you should be able to turn on your mic and just provide us with some explanation about you.
Sure, Guillaume. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. So good afternoon, guys. My name is Guy Hirsch. I manage EMEA partnerships here at Monday.com. I'm very excited to introduce to you all Hidalgo today to really take your Monday.com use to the next level. And today we're mainly going to be covered the PMO use case, really a game-changing solution based on Monday.com. So without getting too much ahead of myself, I'll let Guillaume continue for now.
Okay, thanks, Guy. Thanks for the clear explanation. So the next step of the presentation is about the agenda for today. So agenda is really easy. We are going to provide you with some explanation about Monday.com. Then we will focus on the main topic of the day, which is the PMO. And so in this case, we are going to explain you some common pain points for PMO. And after it, we will give you some secrets how to manage better your project via Monday.com and how you should use Monday.com to use it to manage your project. And finally, the main takeaways, we are going also to dive a little bit into the tool just to show you a live of how it works. And finally, the Q&A, of course. Just for your information, don't forget, the first point is we won't take a break during this workshop because it's not more than 1 hour normally. So in this case, we won't take a break during it. So if you need technical break or something, I hope that you did it when I talked about it earlier. And if you need a coffee, just wait a moment or just leave, but you probably will lose some information, which is not the best option. Then, normally you should be on mute, meaning that you should not be able to talk with us. It's why we have the chat, because we would like to focus on our agenda of today. And then if you have some question, it's why we have Dam here, who should be able to provide you with some responses. So if you have any question, just feel free to use the chat and Dam is going to reply you. You will see that we are going to ask you some questions during the presentation. Please just play the game and answer to the question. It will be nice for us to know a little bit more about who is joining the session, just to make it better next time and better again. So for this part, let's dive into Monday.com. And for this, I think that I will need your help, Guy, because you know it better than I do. So the floor is yours.
Thanks, Guillaume. So let's move along. So a little bit about Monday.com. I won't go too deeply. A lot of you guys today here are Monday.com clients. Some of you for a few months, some of you for a few years. A lot of you are new into the Monday.com world. Basically speaking, Monday.com is a company that had grew in a pretty crazy pace since 2014. We are now close to 900 employees, actually offices around the world. And just about now 18 days ago, we are actually a publicly traded company on NASDAQ. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our clients that have supported us and brought us to this point. Let's move along, Guillaume.
Yep. Time to click on the arrow. Should be done.
Monday.com is used by all business verticals. It could be used by a 5-people team in a restaurant or a 5,000 team in a technological enterprise. It's a flexible platform. But however, the use case today is, I feel, global and relevant to a lot of different industries. So really the question is why, right? What do we do that got Monday.com to be one of the fastest growing software companies ever, actually in the history of software? And I think that the main thing that Monday.com delivers, maybe as we started off from, let's say, a few years back to a task and project management tool, is a really flexible software system and solution to carry out anything you need. So historically, Guillaume, if we look into the next slide, we have had tools that are usually good for one or two things. For example, Jira is a very robust tool, but it is meant to be worked more or less in a certain type of way. Same could be said about Salesforce, about CRM systems, ticketing systems, HR systems, etc. Now, the thing that happens is that there are a lot of processes that just don't fit that mold, and organizations have to fit the way they work to the tool and not the other way around. And that's really the paradigm change with Monday.com. Now, if we look into the next slide, we can actually see how this would become even worse when we are talking to different departments in the organization, because in your company, whether it's small or huge, you have processes that might be working fantastically well for HR or for operations, but what happens when it's a cross-company process? What happens when it's a big project that both the devs and marketing and sales work on, right? That's where we really start to get these organizational silos, and that's what Monday.com aims to solve. Usually, and a lot of you might be familiar with this, even if you're using Monday.com and maybe you need to take it to the next level in kind of get the most of the system, and definitely if you're not using any modern work management solution, is that a lot of the times we try to overcome the friction of these organizational silos and processes that are ill-managed, that are what we call these white spaces, by the tools that we have available in our fingertips. So it could be, of course, tons of Zoom meetings, as we're all aware, which is, at least for me, not too productive. Tons of emails, spreadsheets. We could be wait for organizational IT to bring a solution and be very slow about it, lose speed, lose business opportunities until then. And that's really kind of what we try to make possible for you to not need, to have a one-stop shop for all of your needs, to have that business agility that is so required in the competitive landscape of today. So truly, that is what Monday.com does. We are a work operating system. That means that in some cases, we can enable you to run all processes in one place. In one cases, and in other cases, we understand that we are not siloed, okay? We work together with other tools. So for example, if you have the Atlassian stack within your organization that is used well, but you now need to connect it to Monday, that is easily possible, together with dozens of other tools. And these types of expertise are exactly the type of things that Idalco can help you with as well, by the way. So this is what we really aim to do for organizations. Obviously, Monday.com is flexible. As mentioned, it could be used by all different prospects, no matter what team you are. And Monday.com is a fully mature company, as I said, publicly traded, but you should know that it is a tool that is mature enough to handle the needs of an entire company, meaning that it is GDPR compliant, meaning that it has all the relevant ISO certifications, SOC 1.2 and 3, and market-leading security and information security best practices.
Okay, thanks. That's already a lot of information, Guy. So it's really nice. Then the next part is more for me than you. So thanks to join us, and thanks for your time and all the explanation. I'm going to talk a little bit about Idalco. As Guy said, we are able to support you in a lot of stuff. And indeed, for example, connections between products, if you would like to sync information from one product to another, etc. That's something we do all the time. So it's not only about improvement in the product itself, it's also about how to think in a different way and see how we could get the best of all the solutions that you have today. Because Idalco today is a company which is Idalco, a partner of Monday.com. So Idalco is really an official partner. We have some meeting with Guy, we have some discussion. If we have any question, we can go directly into Monday.com support, we can ask to people, we get information, we get news, anything related to the product, we know it. So it's not only about partnership, meaning communication and transparency between the partners, but it's also about the fact that Dam and myself and other people are also certified, meaning that Idalco is also a certified partner. That means we got some certification, so some badges, as you can see on the screen, that's some of them. Monday.com is really well done about it, as they propose a lot of role to the company as a partner to get someone who is really specific based on the role that he plays in the company. You could get, for example, one specific consultant who has a role to support people in Monday.com and how to improve it. So that's something really important to me, because it means that we have a kind of agreement with Monday.com and, of course, with the customer to provide you with the best that you can imagine. So that's all about the company. So the main topic of the day is, of course, anything related to the PMO. And so we would like to start to highlight any common pain points for PMOs. And so for this, let's go to the next slide. Here you can see the most common pain points for PMO in their day-to-day work. So Monday.com was thinking about what are the pain points of today for someone who is managing a project, but not only one project, but probably more than one. Meaning that you have a high-level overview of everything, but you must also get this overview based on information that you just have in the tool. So the data, etc., must reflect the reality. And if you get some reports, etc., of course, it's something that you should get, for example, live. So stop chasing people for the real-time status, as you can read on the next point. So I don't do it in the order. Then if we go back to the first point, the project's lives in Silo, it's teams lack cross-functionality visibility as they use multiple tools to manage, to run, and track different project phases. It's also something really important. If you are not able to do, yes, you will get an issue about it. Then too much time is being wasted. Of course, team members constantly chase updates and endless things or engage in manual, repetitive tasks instead of actual work. So if you take so much time just to get some reports or just by creating an update in the next file somewhere on a file server, and then of course the file was not a good one or the sync is not done correctly, then so much time is you are losing so much time, and at the end the report is probably not correct at all. So that's not really a good way to do it. It's why Monday.com provides you a complete solution for this, but we will explain you this later. And then the real-time data lakes visibility is so with simultaneous projects running and multiple tools used for reporting, stakeholders lose track of day-to-day analytics as well as long-term insights. So as I told you, if you have, for example, more than one tool, and then you must try to sync them together, first of all, it's a cost. Maybe it's also a source of errors, and then what you get is not correct, and you take a lot of time for this, which is not really nice for PMO, because at the end, you should not spend time on getting information from everywhere, be sure that information are correct, and finally, generating some reports based on your Excel file and a pivot table. That's not the goal. You should just click on a URL, for example, and get all information in one place. That's, to me, something crucial. If you would like to spend your time, spend it well on what you should do, not something where you lose your time. So that's only a way to highlight the common pain points. But then what we would like to propose, it's not only something, let's say, negative. We would like to propose you something positive and propose you our best practices. So please feel free just to take a look to it and take them for you. So based on the pain points that you have, we propose you some solution. And so for this, if we go to the best practices, we are going to explain how to get, for example, faster project planning and approval. You could use the automations that do the work for you, because that's also a big part with Monday.com. Finally, you get a simple and single source of truth, and you will have the perfect structure to manage an active project, because you are able to tailor the way you are working. So meaning if you need something different than your colleague, etc., you can just customize it in your way, and at the end what you get is something clear to you. And if we go up, you have the high-level views of project phases that move the needle. So meaning you also have, you can connect all of them together to get really the high-level overview of all the projects. And so you won't miss something, and tomorrow you won't lose your project, which is really important. For that, it's not so complicated. So if we take a look to the faster project planning and approval, it's not complicated. So you can collect all the data you need during the planning phase by using a customizable forms. So if you take a look on the print screen, it's not so big. So excuse me for this. We will go live in a few moments just to show you it. And so in this case, you can see that we have a form. So you just create a form based on the value that you need. So we have some information in monday.com, the columns, information related to the item, and you can generate a new view. And this view is a simple way to ask to people some information and saying something like, please provide me info like your project name, please, the executive summary, provide me with some file, what is the priority, etc. So you can adapt it in your way. And finally, when the people are going to fill in the form, they submit it. And when the form is submitted, it's converted into monday.com. And so all information are stored in the same place. Then, of course, that's what I just explained. You connect the forms data to one centralized board and then review and approve scope, budget, and schedule, and any other stuff that you would like to check before approving the project itself. Meaning that it's easily approved a new project while overseeing the entire portfolio. So I will show you it later. We can directly go to the next part, which is the automations. Why would you like to lose your time to click on button just to update some information, to move the data from one place to another, just to get, for example, send a notification to the approver just to be sure that he take a look to the item itself? So please stop losing time with it and use automation. So automate defined parts of your works and create custom automations based on your specific needs. Meaning that you can create your own, or you could just use the kind of templates that is proposed by monday.com. I just talked about, for example, notification. That's something easy. When an item is created, then send a notification with this text to this person. Of course, all information are customized based on information from the board itself. So if you have approver, which is a column, the column is customized with some people, of course, a notification will be sent to the people from this column. If you have another column, for example, the project manager for the project itself, it's another person. You should not send a notification to this guy because, okay, it's not approved yet, so you should not know it. Then if in the process, the approver say, yes, I agree, so I update the status, you could, for example, move the item from one group to the other. And finally, assign the project to someone, and that sends automation notification based on automation to the project manager. So it's clearly easy to do. Then create standardized, work processes across the company with templated boards that speed up your project's execution. So it's kind of what I just explained. If you, for example, create a new board and then you would like to duplicate it with any information, for example, you can also generate a template and then duplicate it and stop to losing your time again to just recreate all the structure, etc. It's not something smart to me. Then, of course, the most important, as I told you, if you create something with a form, for example, or any other way, because you can create in many ways some items, some project, etc. in monday.com. In this case, the most important is you have one tool, of course, and then based on the structure that you created in the tool, you will get a specific place, a single source of truth. So it's, of course, the tool itself, monday.com, and you have a board with information. So on the print screen, you can see a board in this case with some information. That's the single place, meaning also we don't need to go, for example, to another tool to get information, ask to someone, did you update your Excel file? Did you update this tool, etc., etc.? No, you don't need it. So we just store everything in the same place, and you just take a look at this one. So you can see the bigger picture and improve your high-level decision making. So use multi-board mirroring to reflect data from multiple projects. planned and active. Then into one master board. So what does it mean? You could have, for example, more than one project that you would like to track, to follow, and then, of course, you don't want to go, of course, in every project each time that you would like to get an update for this. So we can link boards together just to get something like a clear overview and just one place, and information are linked together. So the column are the place where you store data. If you update something there, of course, then it updates in another place. So you don't need, again, to go from one board to the other just to be sure, etc. You only do if you really want to get information which is not displayed on the board. But normally, it's not a need. You can do it in another way. So exactly what I was saying, focus only on tasks that requires your attention. Filter your project board in any way you want to avoid overloading irrelevant information while working. So stop to get too much info. If you are in front of the board, for example, and you would like to provide them with some information related to 1, 2, 3 projects and not all of them, all your portfolio, just use a filter. And then you focus only on the task that you would like to get an overview of. So it's something easy. The filter is something anyone can use it. You have the basic filter with some choices. You just click on it and you just select the information that you want to get. If it's not enough for you because you want something more complex, you also have the advanced filter. So to me, it's really something simple. It's not about query, something complicated, or with an Excel file, you have information with a pivot table, but then you lose some information, you forgot to refresh it someone because it's shared, just update info, but it's not up to date. No, stop, it's live. Just go on this single place and just click on the button. You will get everything you need. And of course, meaning that you must think about the structure. So I told you that we have a tool. Of course, that's the basic. Then in the tool, we have different level, we have different structure. And if you don't think about it soon enough, you will get some issue with it. So in our case, the goal of the structure is to manage, to run and track your project on one board and filter your column of data based on changing needs. So reflect your task on our dynamic Gantt chart to watch and adjust dependencies, milestone and baseline. That's another view. And of course, track your team's work capacity with the workload and balance their tasks to deliver on time. So this example is important because if you take a look to the print screen, each row of the view is someone, and each column, let's say in this way, is a week, for example, and you can see some dots, blue and red. Red is meaning that you can't work more than 40 hours a week, for example, and I can see that someone is really busy this week. If I take a look to another guy in the list in the team, I can see that he's not busy at all. So maybe I should also balance the task and just send some task to someone else. Or maybe should I think about moving the start date or end date just to be sure that we are going to extend a little bit to decrease the work on a day. And I will be sure that the guy is going to do the job and we get the result at the end. So it's really important, but it's based on the structure. So if your structure is not done in a proper way, then maybe you will get some issue to get a nice information because you didn't use, for example, the good place, sorry. You didn't use a good column, you use another way, etc. The structure is all of that. From the top to bottom, you must think about what should I need, what should I do to get it, etc. It's why at Hidalgo, we are also able to support you with this and to explain you based on the experience that we had. And so in this case, I can tell you, if you do it in this way, you will get an issue, not today, not next week, but in 6 months. But it will become really important. You won't be able to get the report. So please don't use it in this way. Just use this one. And the structure for you will be better. You will see it. So finally, what we can do, and for every people interested in PMO, is also the fact that you would like to get a high-level views of project phases. It's really important. What is planned versus actual? So I don't want to be late. I want to be on time for my project. And if I have some advance, it's clearly better. How can I do it? Just the Gantt chart view, for example, as explained before, I have a clear overview of the current situation of my project. We have a start date, an end date, and I can see that with the workload system, someone is really busy. But then 2 weeks later, we could just move the item 2 weeks later. It won't impact our project. And following the dependency that I just created, I see that there is no issues with it. So just move it. The guy is not too busy anymore. The planned versus actual won't be impacted, so it's okay. And how do I know that the impact is not so important? Because I can also use, for example, milestones to get a clear view at this date. Please think about milestone here. It's really important because it's something special, etc. You must consider it. It's probably not an item. It's not something that you should work on. It's clearly a milestone, a point on a timeline to say that this date, we have something specific and we must consider it in the planning. So maybe we could have some impact. Then, of course, activity status breakdown to get a clear view. You have also the budget consumption, because you could use a column with specific, let's say, how do you say that? It's a number column, and you associate the currency to the column, and you say, okay, for this task or for this project, we have something like 15,000 euros budget for this one. So please be careful because it's the budget. And based on the time you spend, the money you spent on the project, etc., then at the end you can get a clear overview of it and see something like all those projects. We had a total of this budget, but finally we already consumed this amount. Be careful, because in a few moments we will be out of budget, which is not good. And scheduled performance indicator is something that helps you to get a clear overview of your team, the project situation, etc., just to be sure that you manage it well. Finally, the main takeaways. So build your own project methodology and let the platform scale it for you. As I told you, you can just customize in your way. You can tailor the platform in your way you want. So if you would like to work in your way, based on the same information than your colleague, or most of them, because of course, if you talk only about time in a way, the other one is only talking about money, and the other one is only talking about number of or quantity of items to do, you probably will get an issue. But then if your colleague don't want to use a specific priority system that you would like to get, you prefer to manage it with this kind of structure, etc., it's something you can do. So just feel free. Monday.com is really a flexible tool that you can tailor in your way. Then apply some of our core features to your own work methodologies to integrate more successful portfolio management practices. So something which is, I know a lot of platforms, but I know that Monday.com, we have something really nice with them. When you would like to do something, first of all, you have a specific template you can follow, you can test, you have some items just to support you to test something before go live, for example. And then, of course, the core features is also the fact that if you use a specific type of column, it will help you to do something specific. So you can clearly use the core features to already get something really nice. So we talk about the budget, we talk about time management, workload, we talk about Gantt charts, timeline view, a lot of stuff like this one, which is really important when you manage a project. If you don't have this kind of information and even a dashboard on the top of it, sorry, but you will get an issue at the end. So it's why it's nice to get Monday.com and to get all those features. It's already based on the plan that you select, of course. It's already included and you can do a lot of stuff. So if you need more info about it and the plans, etc., I can recommend you to just send us an email and we can explain you what you should take. Then use efficient and standardized. I can't say it. Sorry, I come from Belgium, French speaker. Work structure in templated boards, forms, automations, and more to build a long-lasting and winning PMO workflow. So that's what I was explaining you. So you have, of course, the templated boards, the form, we already talked about it, the automation, and so more. So that's really something you can customize in your way. You can get more than one view with only a kind of board with a table view, the main view, with all information. Just create it in your way, just to be sure that the structure and the workflow that you would like to get is followed by people. Then set up the right high-level views for key insights on your day-to-day work and easily identify the bottlenecks. So that's probably also something really important, because just to let you know, you could also customize a specific board for specific people. Based on the plan, you can also imagine to allow or not the visibility. You could give an access even to your partner, for example, if you would like to. I know that it interests a lot marketing teams, for example, who would like to get a support from external company, provide an access to the customer itself, etc. But of course, in this case, the goal is also to get a clear overview on a dashboard of the current situation and to get just what you need to know. The budget is almost consumed, which is not correct. So you can see it just in a simple frame and you see that, okay, just 10 euros left. How is it possible? Then it's a kind of warning. You go inside of your board and you see, okay, that's a mistake from someone. Just adding 1 0 could make the difference, for example. That's really something important. But then if we go directly into the tool, just to show you something, we could talk about the PMO roadmap. And so in our case, mainly we talk about the new Gantt chart view. So the Gantt chart view, I suppose that most of you knows it because you use, for example, a product like Microsoft Project, Excel sheet, and you create your own or other product like it. The nice thing to know is the fact that it's also included directly into Monday.com. So I can see from this board that it's a kind of private board with some views and the main table and the Gantt chart. And you can find all the information that you need. It's during a year. You have, for example, on the quarter, but you can customize the view based on the timeline. So you select the period that you would like to show. You can see dependencies. You can see, for example, milestone. You can see that you are able to filter, etc. So there is a lot of things that you can do, and you don't need to get a specific tools that cost a lot and sync information together or using Excel sheet again. Just let people walk directly into Monday.com and just get your information live. So easily view your entire project scope with an option to drill down to a specific time period, as I told you. So support 5-time resolutions, meaning that we can display on days, weeks, months, quarters, and of course years, depending on your project. Based on, is it a small project or a huge project? Of course, you could select more than months. Zoom options for each time group. So then you can also just, again, select the period that you would like to see, or even just go and zoom in to get a better view. The week number indication on all zooms with show height option. So again, flexible and a way to customize in your way. Just select all the options that you have a lot. So just take a look, test it, you see, and if you miss something, don't think so, just ask us and we see how we could provide you the solution. Then view tasks up to more than 20 years from now to support longer projects. So if you have a project, of course, which is really long, you have the time to just go in the past and see, is it something that we did, or was the beginning, blah, blah, blah. So all information are here. But then again, of course, you don't need to get an overview on the 20 years in the past years. You probably need only this year. And if you use, for example, the filter, then you filter based on a period and you hide all information that you don't need. It's easy. The baseline, which is a little bit different. So define your project's planned schedule as your baseline and keep track of your actual schedule progression in parallel. See at all time your planned versus actual schedule visuals on your Gantt to easily identify delays and gaps. So that's really something easy to do. So it's also another way to present the Gantt view. It's really a way to compare information. Okay, I would like to change something, for example. Okay, let's create baseline and then we just change it and see the impact. So it's really something that could help you to be sure that if you do something, I won't risk anything with my project, and maybe it could be even better. Just take a look, use the baseline, and in this case, you will be able just to see if it's a good idea or not. Doing it with another tool, like an Excel file or something like it, it's really not comfortable. Not comfortable at all, because it means that probably you are going to copy something, maybe you will scratch the wrong file, etc. In another tool, probably that you could create baseline, but it's not so flexible. And does it impact because the sync is just going to do it, etc. So it scratch all your information? No, here it's really easy. And as I told you, it's something that you can find in one view, so you don't have to open a lot of stuff. No, it's here. Just use it. That's easy. Of course, the out of office support on workload is really something annoying. We should not provide holidays to people, as you can imagine, but we are human, so we take holiday. It's clearly normal. And in this case, what is happening if I go on holiday, I am sick, I am out of office for today, I'm not available. It happens, it's normal. So in this case, you can allocate your resources and define your team's out of office days in the workload widget when planning ahead. So easily take into account your team's day of absence and plan accordingly to make sure your project remains on track. So we know that we are on end of June. In a week, I'm pretty sure that some of you, lucky you, are going on holidays. And so what's happening with the project? The project manager is aware about it because maybe he was on holidays during the last 2 weeks. And so it means if you forgot to just saying something like, okay, in the Excel file or in the different tools that I use, because if you are, for example, not the project manager, but someone like a developer who is working, you won't open the other tool just to update. And if the project manager is not aware about it, okay, that's not really nice. So in this case, you can clearly also get a clear overview. You are all able to get information and to share information together, and you can prepare it. And so in this way, just forget about something which is, okay, for our first people here, I can see it's in red. And why? Because a part of the period here, she is on holidays. So she's out of office. It's not really something that you can just assign a task to this person. But if you take a look down, the two other people, they are free and not really free, but they can take some task. So we can just drag and drop from this part to move the item from one person to the other, and then your project is not impacted at all. The critical path is also really important. That's something for PMO, which is probably a nice way to support you, just to be sure that if you move something, what's happening then? It's not about the baseline here. It's clearly something to help you to be sure that if suddenly you move an item, no impact about it, it's really a small one. Yeah, just move it, and you didn't see that these small items is also linked to a lot of other items that are really important. So they must be done after the first one, the small one, which is really a piece of your project. But what if I move it? Then the critical path is going to tell you, be careful with that, because based on your timeline, your project, the dates, and all information related to it, you will get something red, like a warning to say, please be careful with this one. Oops, sorry. So just because some minute left, let me show you something live. Oops, sorry, wrong screen. That's it. So first information, I told you about the structure of the tool. So the most important here is really to understand that the tool is based on an account. So the account, in our case, I am from Hidalgo, so I have an account for Hidalgo company. So that's the first point. If your company has more than one account, probably that's not really a good idea, because instead of creating one account here, one account in another place, and then another team would like to use Monday.com, normal, of course, just create workspace. So in your account, your website, you can get more than one workspace. So you could create a workspace for the human resources, for the IT team, the PMO, sales, marketing, etc. And then, of course, if we talk about PMO in our case, I go in this workspace and I can still split information into boards. So the PMO here, first of all, you can select who is able to join the workspace itself. So meaning that if it's not Guillaume, Mikil, Damien, or everyone at Hidalgo, let's say someone different, of course, in this case, they are not able to join and to see the workspace. So if I go back to my workspace here list, I see that I can see all of them. So I think that I see all of them. If I'm not able to see it, no, you are not. And so if you are not a member and not an admin, you won't see it. Then it's not all. I just told you, if you are a member, admin, that's something different, meaning that you have some kind of permissions and level of permission based on some information. First of all, I am a member, meaning that I have a license, a seat, as we say at Monday.com. And so with the seat, you get some functionalities. Then you could be also a guest, for example, if you share, for example, a board with someone, they can take a look at it, even if you would like to. Allow them to just saying something like, you can edit this part, and this part. Based on the board, you have also something different. You can see the crow here. So Mikil is at the moment is only a member, but I can also say that make Mikil Meurs an owner, or even Dam. You see that I am, but Mikil is not. So it means that they will be responsible, they have more permission, and based on this part. So permissions, you can see that you have some features that's the highest level after the tool itself, of course. And you can say who is able to do what. So anyone is here, but I would like to say that who is able to create some main boards, only the space owners and the admins. Then all the permissions level can be done in a different way. So for example, here I have my project approval. You can see that it's my main board. And then, for example, I would like to say that for the approver, I would like to avoid and say we have a permission even on the columns itself, which is really important for you, because it's not because you propose restriction that view or edit, and then you can say, I would like to avoid people to do it, and who can edit it? Only Guillaume and Damien, which is good. Okay. We can see here we have a small logo to say, okay, permission is locked, so be careful with it. During the presentation, I told you that it's really easy to get, for example, or to propose a new project. So what I'm going to do is to show you the form. So the form here, you see that we have a lot of stuff. And what are the information that we have here? The information comes from directly your main table and all the columns that we have here. All those information are important to me to create my project and to approve them. So it's something that we need. How do I get new project? I ask to people. For this, I create a new view, easy, add view, select a form, and you get this. Finally, when you see it, you can customize, change the logo, the colors, the information here, and you can say, for example, if a column or a field or an information is required, if it's visible or not. So to me, the project name is really important. So I ask to show it, first of all, and I say it's required, please. But then the request date is not really important because the request date is probably something that I would like to get automatically. If you press the button to say create this project, please, then we can create the request date automatically when you click on the button. Easy to do. You share the form, you get a link, and even embed system. You can deactivate form, regenerate a shareable link if you think that's not a good idea because someone just shared it too much. Then when you did it, you just use a link and you get this view. To me, it's really easy. I don't want to ask too much information. I just need my project name, explain the issue, select my program, etc., etc. So if I show you here, I can say that's it's GLO project. So we need this project because we have some issues. Then I can select, of course, my program. So you can create them. It's a select list. It's easy. And you can say more information. And I won't do it too much. Just the justification, recommendation, etc. because the fields are required. So I submit. What do I get? Thank you. That's done. I don't have to do anything else. My project has been created for the PMO and all the boards to decide what are they going to do with it. Let me just remove this tab because we don't need it anymore. And let me go back to the main table. And as you can see, it's done. My project is already here. Someone did it. So sounds good. It has been created on the, it's today. Nice. It's exactly what I wanted. My program is here. And so you see that, for example, I say, okay, it's a new project. What I would like to do is using the status and say, at the moment, it's not clear if we approve or reject it, so we send it to under consideration. If you take a look to my screen, you see that I have groups, you know it probably, with a new request. Of course, every new request, then I selected a group like under consideration. And if I click on it, then the system is just going to moving it directly into good place because you have information, you set that status, it's under consideration. Nice, you get it. Then all the view here, you have this. You can have a lot of view. That's all the view that I use for this project approval, for example. You can have the timeline as well. You can have the file view. It's really nice to get, by the way, a Kanban view, a chart view, etc. So you have a lot of stuff. But let me show you something a little bit different. Here, it's specific view. Oops. And each time that someone is using the form, if they say, hey, I don't get it because I ask you something, okay, that's not this one, next item, okay, that's this one. So you ask me this one, that's from you, it's for the project Bravo that you request. Okay, I'm going to save it as PDF file. So of course, in this case, it proposes you to just get this. And you can send it back and say, okay, on the 24th of June, you ask me this. So if you don't agree with it, okay, we are going to change it, but don't blame me, please. It's really something useful. All the projects that you have here, each time that you create one, you could, of course, get something different. So we have the project alpha, for example. We created a board for this one. It's pretty new. So at the moment, it's empty. And how did I create it? Sorry, that's not this one with empty, but the next point was to show you something not empty, so it's good. Then the project alpha has been created. It's a board based on a template. As I told you, you can create your own. It's easy. You can even create a template based on the template proposed by Monday.com. You have a lot to do, advanced project roadmap, etc. So just take a look to it with some integration, etc. Easy. If you create your own, then you can just create your project based on the template that you just created and just provide with some information. So here, in my case, I have a project alpha, with some nice information, with a baseline. I have some file, I have the cost type, anything like it, even time tracking, on time, etc. So I have a lot of information, but it's probably too much to get a clear overview of it. First of all, baseline is nice, but to me, use a Gantt. Why do you want to use something different than this? Let me just auto-fit it. And you see here, that's easy. I can see directly exactly what type of activity do I have. And so if I don't want to get everything, maybe that I could also just filter, as you can see here, based on, for example, only mine. Okay, that's easy. I have this. Okay, clear to me. I can get it directly. Then I would like to get more information. For example, I think that this one could be nice. Oops. I don't remember where I have tasks. Yep, here we are. And I see that I am not overloaded at all, which is really nice to me. But what do I see here? Unassigned. We have a lot, which is not really good because the goal of the project, even if it's in December, we are going just to say, okay, here I can see that we have some tasks, a lot of tasks. I'm going to go zoom in and say something like, I can see already that we have an issue on this one. So just change and you see that's not red anymore. You see this one. Maybe I could also just, sorry, I haven't mouse. So to me, yep, not exactly what I wanted to do. So, yep, here we are. Please, thank you. You are going to move each item in this way and see if it's still okay or not. So it's not really complicated to do. If you would like to assign, there is a lot of way to do it, but you could also directly click on the item and say, okay, that's for Guillaume, for example. And in this case, it goes up directly to me. So let me do it again, assign to me. And you see that it's moving. So in this case, it allows you to get a clear overview of the situation. To me, one of the other things that is really interesting, it's this one. If you talk about a shareable board, it's because you would like to invite some people to take a look at it. So it doesn't mean that they are able to do everything they want, but I invited someone, John Doe, to my board, and he is a guest, meaning that I can ask to clients, freelancers, etc. You can do everything you want. And then, based on this information, he is able to do some interaction with you if you ask some question, etc. So I see here, okay, we have a lot of info, which is really good. Then, okay, let me, I see that in the conversation, John Doe just asked me something. Okay, maybe that I could ask him, hey John, for example, yes, we will think about it. Oops. That's easy. You can add everything you want. You can add file. You can just even like the comment that he proposed. You can do a lot of stuff, which is really good. And if John did something, of course, you can follow it based on the activity logged, not for the comment, of course, because the comment is an update. But if you change something, let's say that, for example, let me move this one. On a small screen, it's not always easy. You would like, for example, to link items together, you would like to change something, etc. Then you will get something in the activity log. And if it's a guest, of course, you will see it as well. One other point, we talked about it, but we talk about link item. So meaning that we could, for example, get a link between elements, between item, and here you can see that I have a lot of information that comes from another place. If I take a look to it, I see that, hey, isn't it a project that I requested a few months ago? Nice to know, because I'm not on the good board. It was in project approval, but my program high level to get a clear overview of everything is linked. So I can say, okay, it's linked to this one. And then you get a nice way to know, what was this project again? Yeah, okay, that was a part of it. So probably that we could say we agree because it's already linked to something. You approved it. And then, of course, because I change it, if you go back to the project approval, it's not under consideration anymore because someone just decided to accept it, which is good. Okay, sounds good. which is important also when you talk about PMO and high-level overview, is the dashboard. I told you that we have a lot of stuff to present you. So for example, a countdown, which is not bad, because if you talk about project, of course, you will get a countdown, a timeline to respect. Then you can add some text, you can get an overview avec a status based on some information, the progression of the project. And because I am the owner of this one, I would like to get more. And then you can just select up all the board that you would like. I am also responsible of Project Alpha. Okay, I add it. It's done. As you've seen, 2 clicks, it was okay. And it's the same for each of them, even related to cost, for example. If you would like to talk about the risk, external risk, management risk, technical risk, you would like to get the overview with a Gantt, baseline, etc. You have everything is possible. It's really easy to do. The workload is here. And so for someone who is doing something like managing a lot of projects, it's probably a good solution. And you have a lot. Even based on some information here. But to me, it's not really enough because, okay, it's a clear overview, but I would like to understand exactly why. First of all, you could also imagine to filter, for example, based on some information. So only for program A, program B, and then we see, okay, that's only for this. So it has been updated. Sounds good. I would like to know only for DAM, for example. Then, okay, that was easy. Just to click again and click on this information. Okay, oops. You can get a clear overview on this one by selecting it and saying, okay, that's the one. So, as I told you, it's not really complicated. It's easy to do. Anyone is able to do it with some help and some support, of course, because otherwise we don't exist. But at the end, that's how it works. It's monday.com. It's easy to use and easy to customize. Automation, that's probably sometimes the most complicated when we talk with customer. In this case, you see, I just click on it. I have a list with 9 automation, and then I would like to add new automation. Okay, let's use a template. We have a lot based on some information here. For example, due date is really common topic when we talk about project management, and you could say something like, when date arrives, notify someone. Exactly what I was expecting. When? So when that arrives at 9, for example, it sounds good to me. So yes, we can keep it. The date is yes, the request date, maybe not because it's not so logical, but the desired launch date is okay. And I would like to notify. So saying something like, hey, someone, I would like to share this item with you. Then you add, for example, a link. You could add an item's name, yes, and add some information like the status is, for example, status, and the desired launch date is. Here we are. It was easy. Notification is done, and I would like to notify someone like people from a column, which is the initiator. Then I add it to the board. Okay, next time that I would like to take a look to it, then we will see all the automation activity related to some board, etc. So you can track it and see if it has been done or not, and you can follow and track the current situation of your project. The last step is about integration. So it exists, of course, and you have some tools, as I explained. Of course, if you talk about marketing team and people who use, for example, the Creative Cloud, that I don't see it, but I know that it exists. Yes, Creative Cloud is here. If we talk about, for example, Eventbrite, if you talk about people who are using Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, if you talk about Slack because it's direct communication, MailChimp, support with Zendesk, anything like it, just you can add some integration and you can do tools communicate together. That's also the goal. It's not so complicated as well because today, with IT and cloud, everything is possible. Last point is also the fact that don't miss something today. Thanks to the notification, for example, I see that, okay, automation did something. John Doe, didn't see it before. Okay. So you can clearly follow everything which has been done in the past. And of course, the notification is one, but you also have some inbox with you got a message from someone, for example, and you can select and customize. You also have, for example, my week. If I would like to know what I should, the deadline here. Oh, oof, I have some work to do again. Then you have a lot of stuff to do. And invite members is also something really nice because new colleague, you would like to invite it on the platform, send a message, then the administrator is going to say, okay, I agree. That's really easy, and it's how it works with Monday.com. Keep it simple and get something nice at the end. That's really what is happening. So to me, it's the end of the presentation. I don't know if you have some question and if Dan have some remarks or something like it. I can see that, yeah, it's very top level. I agree with you. The goal is clearly to get an introduction. It's not to fix your issue, your problem. It's really to get a presentation, an introduction of how to do things and how does it work. Then if you would like to get some information about how to fix your issue, it's customized. And so in this case, just please feel free to just send us a message, for example. And we will be happy to support you with all the problem that you have and find with you some solution. Dam, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm here.
Is it okay?
Yes, everything is okay for me. I think I answered almost all the questions normally. Let me review everything again. Yes, I replied to Sarah. I replied to Aaron. I replied to, how do you say, Schussler, okay.
I can see it. I'm still alive.
That's it. I don't know if we can provide this PMO bundle for free or how we can provide this bundle to people. I will ask a guy about that and we will explain everything in an email to all the attendees and registration and register the people here. No, it was a nice presentation as usual.
We do our best, as usual.
Yeah.
So
thanks. The idea here with this PMO presentation is more to show you how PMO project management can be done using Monday and the possibilities of the platform. Of course, you didn't learn how to set up everything because, I agree with the remark, the previous remark. It can be very long to set up all this implementation, but once it's done, then of course you don't have to redo everything. And of course, Hidalgo can help to set up your Monday environment and to make it work as things you see today. I will collect some information about this, let's say, default PMO bundle and inform all the people about that with an email from our system. And what else? That's it.
Yeah, just to remind you, the goal is clearly to propose you an introduction to PMO and Monday.com. How could it work? By the way, we can't cover everything because each company are different. If we talk about company with, for example, a lot of small projects, something like it's 1 month each time, and then we talk about another company who has not too much project, but with 2 or 3 years. So it's really different. And so, by the way, at the end, you won't need the same structure, you won't need the same information because some of them are really fast. Other must be planned a lot of, you have a lot of work on the planning, and the other one is more that, okay, keep it on track. That's clearly different. So Here, the goal was just to explain you that with Monday.com, you should stop chasing information each time, send notification, reminder to people, stop using a lot of tool, everything in a single place. So just people are working, do their job on the items, and then as a project manager, you get an overview of everything you need in the same environment. So if something is done, it's done for everyone. So when you would like to get a report because the CEO just asked you, okay, in 5 minutes in my place, just come with the last information related to the project. Yes, okay, the report is 2 years old, which is not good. Normally, maximum 2 days, 2 weeks, allez. And then, no, it's live. You don't have to care about it. It's not important. If you would like to get some information, the CEO is asking you to get an access. You can provide an access. He won't be able to, for example, edit information because it happens. And of course, if you would like to, I don't know, maybe he is a huge fan of Excel. Export in Excel. He can play and do everything he wants. So the goal is just to say, if you are a part of a PMO system in your company, then you get only one place, live information, stop chasing people, get everything easily at the same place. If you are more than one project manager, of course, and one people, PMO people, you are more than one, you can go to the higher level. It's not an issue. Everyone has his own dashboard at this level, so it's okay. That was clearly the goal of the company, of the presentation, sorry.
Yeah.
So if there is no more remarks or feedback or question, maybe what you can do is just feel free to add Dam and me on LinkedIn, of course. That's a way to stay informed about what we do, because we do a lot of workshop. And then, of course, it's also a way to communicate with us. If you would like to send us an email, you have the address on the screen, so feel free just to send a message. And what we can do for this is clearly just find some solution for you and explain you some, I provide you with some explanation about how to do it, how to improve, etc. Just feel free to do it. And of course, as it's written on the screen, thank you for your time. And if any question, again, send an email.
Thank you.
All that. See you soon. Have a nice day, every one of you. Bye.
Bye.
And end session. Yes.